Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. In this e-commerce product management platform, I will be working with you, like we're going to work together on creating an advanced product catalog software, which will be pluggable into a different systems. And think of it as we're going to create a software with a UI, with a backend that you can create products if you wanted to create an online shop or a marketplace or whatever. And we're going to create this a little bit in a microservice way that you can plug it into even existing projects. So let's say you already have a website and then you want to create an e-commerce based on that. We're gonna explore the data structure and everything in between, and we're gonna have a little bit fresh look. We don't want to reinvent everything else which is out there. Rather, we want to see with the modern things and things we have learned in the past 10 years in terms of e-commerce, database structures, coding, and everything. How would that affect, and if we can create a reliable product management platform? Um, the goal of the project workshop is build as we go. I don't know what's gonna happen either. It's a question in my mind, so I like to do it with you, record it with you. So you will see me making a lot of mistakes in the process that requires you to be a bit more patient. I believe this is gonna be a very long workshop I'm planning to create. We want to create the microservice based product management. It means that you can install it somewhere and then start adding products and then integrate the authentications, not into an existing one, rather into like if you had, for example, Azure or I don't know, any other thing like Google accounts or something like that. We allow that part of making this a part of another system up to the developer who wants to use it. Maybe we also provide the authentication layer on top of that. Who knows how it's going to end? So we want to put a lot of effort on the product information and details. So users can create product information and details with very good like knowledge in hand. We're gonna have custom fields, parameters, and attributes. So we're not gonna just create a product. We would rather allow the management of the system to provide some kind of let's say voice and how the system works, how to organize it like a real one, like if there was a million product in that. And then we're gonna use only SQL to store the data. I will be starting with SQLite, but then we will put it on MySQL and we will compare like if the SQLite is actually enough for this whole process. And then we want to make it pluggable to the other systems, sticking only to Golang and SQL. So we don't want to have Docker. We don't want to have a lot of different technologies in it. We just build a solid thing and use that, and we'll see if that works or not. And we will have advanced features like inventory management, categories, filters based on categories, sorry. And then like all of these things will be included. So first, we want to create our projects. We will be running project using Fireback microservice boilerplate. We will create a custom client project using React and White because I want to move on to White and like create the front end a little bit with a fresh look. Then using the Fireback itself for the training purposes and creating minimal concepts to move on based on such platform is very complicated. If you just discuss all about it, we can't really do a thing. We have to have something and then we will build ourselves on top of that. The important thing to note is when we are in the process of thinking and building it, we don't go and use it right away. We have to build it, create a extremely well model, test it with huge amount of data, and then when it's a production ready level, we're gonna put it somewhere. So we want to prove a few things. We want to say that SQLite is enough for millions of products. This is something I like to know and prove that like a simple thing as 400 kilobytes of SQLite is just enough for millions of products. And you need to understand one thing besides maybe, I don't know, Poland Allegro or eBay or those very, very huge players. A lot of other e-commerce websites are making millions with just like 400, 500 products, 1000 products max. And then I have been working in an e-commerce platform, which is very common in Europe in terms of clothing. And they were making like hundreds of millions a year. and what was the amount of product was like 900,000, and not even 10% of that was actually active. Therefore, you see that with 900,000 products which are selling, in fact, like a business grows to multi tens of or hundreds of millions, and therefore we are not developing from that onward at the moment. If that happens, then you will have a great team, you will have a lot of money to plan, build like 50 software again and again and again. So we just plan until like we become millionaire, let's say. And then we do not want any third-party tools. We want to do everything on a single binary. That's all. We don't want anything, dependencies, nothing. And then we want to store everything in a database, even the images and files related to the product, everything in a single database. And then we will see if that helps our backup system, and then actually like improves our performance in terms of code and process. The thing is, like a lot of these companies which are like mid-sized, they think they have big data, but I have been working again on this same company, and then like they said we have like 800, 900 gigabytes of product information and then newsletter information. And then I redesigned the system kind of a thing, and it was really 2.4 gigabytes of normalized data in a SQLite database. Besides the assets and image, I didn't touch that, but it is just it's scattered around. It's not real data a lot of time. Like 1 gigabyte of a real data is a lot of value. Like people underestimate that often. All right. So I will start this chapter by chapter. I will see what is fit to create on the next chapter, but be with me on the first chapter very soon. But let's meet each other.